Always remember to make peace with your family and especially your past, or you will be haunted later in life. Good Madam is a Shudder original written and directed by Jenna Katso-Bass, who did Flatland and Neighbors, and a bunch of other people helped contribute as far as writing goes, a number of the cast members, so it's clearly a labor of love about family in Cape Town, South Africa. We focus on Mavis, who's an older woman, but a living caregiver for a woman she affectionately calls Madam. Her real name's Diane. She's an older woman that is very, very sick and needs help. Mavis has a strained relationship with her daughter, Sidi, who is played by Chusima Kosa. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce too many of the cast members' names because I don't want to dishonor them, but Miss Kosa does very, very well in this movie. She also has a daughter named Winnie that she loves and appreciates and wants to just have in a safe area. She also has a strained relationship with Winnie's father, who is basically just trying to, they're just trying to make things work, especially for the kids. They're trying to stay together in some respect for the kid, and that's what you do as parents. So, yeah, there's a lot of strained relationships going on. It is about family. It's a psychological horror, drama, thriller. It has some horror elements to it, but this movie most reminds me, like theme-wise, of the movie His House. It came out on Netflix, as far as slow burn and everything, and it's about family and about coming to grips with your past and maybe not repeating the same mistakes that other people did. And I will say that as far as the acting actually was the main standout to this movie. Miss Kosa actually was just fucking phenomenal in this. And the other actors, the actress that played Mavis, she did pretty well as well. And the girl playing the young daughter was fine. Everybody actually contributed well to this. It did center around just a few characters, which was probably smart. And it was a pretty well told story. It was an obvious story. It's pretty clear where this thing was going from the very beginning. There were like warning signs / hints dropped in the dialogue. And since it is set in Cape Town, South Africa, you're going to have subtitles and you're also going to have a bit of English. So just sit down and get ready to enjoy this character study, basically. It's almost like a one-act play. And unlike the movie His House, this is more grounded in reality because that had a lot of imagery, some good special effects and everything. But this is almost where it just strips all that down and just focuses on the characters, and we get some spooky music and we get some weird stuff. And oh, really, is this stuff in their head or is it not in their head? What is actually going on? I'm not going to say this movie is necessarily perfect. There are a few issues I have. I think sometimes the establishing shots, while good, while very, very well done, technically sound, camera work's great, direction's great, writing's very good and crisp, acting is very good. The establishing shots get to the point where it's like, okay, you didn't have that much material for this. You're just going to keep doing this stuff because if they took out half of the establishing shots, this movie would have been an hour and it was like 92 minutes with credits. That's not the worst thing in the world. It's cool looking. It's very just one location based. Because really, outside of the first number of minutes, like first, I'd say maybe 10, this is all just set in one house. Again, I do want to praise Ms. Kosa, who does really, really well showing the conflict of being a mother, wanting to help her daughter, but also embracing her past and being a bit headstrong. We find that out in flashbacks, and we find out that maybe there are certain things she should have listened to before things really, really start to go south. And yes, it does get to the point where it builds enough suspense. You build a very nice suspense. You can stop building now. You don't need a second house. You don't need to have an addition. You don't need to do any of this stuff. The movie does suffer from some pacing issues eventually because you do have to have a payoff. This movie does have a payoff, I do want to say. And there are many more positives than negatives. But as far as a slow burn movie, unless you're in the right mood, this movie may not be for you. But I certainly am glad I watched it. Shudder has been doing pretty good with the originals. This is certainly one of the better ones. Not for everybody, but certainly well acted. Again, Ms. Kosa did very good, and the actress who played Mavis was very good. And there's a son that comes in a little bit later. He's quite good as well. Get him in more movies. I couldn't pronounce his name, so that's why I didn't bother. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good overall. I am going to get into spoilers right now, but it's on Shudder. Check out Shudder. It's a few bucks a month, and it's absolutely worth it if you're a horror fan. No, I'm not sponsored. Wouldn't mind being, but they got better things to do than sponsor a little show like this. So 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay, so basically, CD, and I hope I pronounced that right because people have different ways of how they pronounce it here. It turns out that she was living at a place but didn't want to live with certain family members, and she decided, fuck it, I'll just go and live here. And they said, well, don't leave. You'll have bad luck if you leave before the distribution ceremony. What is the distribution ceremony? Almost sounds a little cult-like. Well, she mentions to her daughter that that this house, the house they're in right now with grandma, mother, grandma, and Diane, is a house that she grew up in, but she has many bad memories. And then we find out a little bit more as things go on, like flashbacks. She has a strained relationship with her family. She basically wants to do things her own way, but she also has some mental health issues that clearly become obvious a little bit later. She does form more of a bond living with her mother again. And we don't see Diane for a while, so you start to think that maybe Diane's all in somebody's head and that, Mavis is going to end up being the creepy, weird one. We do get some goofy, like psychological things. Like we get a little bit of weird stuff and some weird shots. It's almost like we're getting we're getting like some, are these images that are in our head? Are they just things that the actors are imagining? What is going on here? It does turn out that this particular property has gravestones for, it has graves for the various people who used to live there, including the workers. So it's a haunted area. Oh boy. There, and Diane basically is very, very sick. In fact, she's basically dying. A son enters and says, well, look, it's obvious that Mavis is not feeling well. Let's take care of her. Let's make sure she takes care of herself. And that it's good for you to rest now, Mavis. Like, that's basically what it is. Like, you need to, the helping people is important, but you need to take care of yourself. Sadie basically starts to see weird things and see weird stuff. She ends up at one point slapping her daughter during a breakdown, almost, seemingly. Her, the kid's father takes the daughter away. And then Sadie starts cleaning the house. Because like mother, like daughter. And it becomes obvious that what's going on is basically, she is being haunted by whatever this curse was. Like leaving her family and everything has followed her. And now this distribution ceremony, whatever that is, oh no, she's not able to continue to, or she's not going to be able to continue to live on unless she rectifies this. And there's this weird ritualistic stuff going on I don't entirely understand because I'm not really immersed in the culture. And by not immersed, I mean at all. I don't know what's going on. But her and Mavis basically are taking care of the house now until the son shows up and, they're going to have a wake for Diane because she's dying. There's these flowers all around her and everything. And I don't know what the heck was going on, but the son had a knife. It looked like he was either going to stab Diane and kill her, or he was going to stab the daughter, or stabs Sadie, and then Mavis stops him. The son gets stabbed, and Diane's back alive. So I'm guessing the distribution ceremony is taking his life and putting it in her. I'm guessing that because they don't exactly explain that stuff. And now she's taking care of the house along with Mavis, and that's it. And she's got a good relationship with her daughter, and that's it. That much I gather from it. It was a little bit obtuse, I guess, would be the best way to describe it, but it certainly wasn't bad. It was well acted. This also did very, very well. So yeah, I'm going to give it a B+. Again, pacing issues and a little bit of lack of explanation, but it wasn't bad. I'm not going to complain about it at all. It's not perfect, but it's certainly good. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Recklin. I'll see you soon.